Hello students, in my previous lecture we had seen how to read and write the array elements. Now in this lecture we are going to learn two-dimensional array. Okay, so as we have seen that in our previous lecture that one-dimensional array. Okay, so what is one-dimensional array? So when you define the array variable, when you declare the array variable with the single subscripted value, okay, so this is called subscriptist. Okay, subscript. Okay, so this is single subscript, when the variable is declared with a single subscript value, whatever the value is, so it is known as single dimensional array or one dimensional array. But when the variable is declared with double subscripted value, then it is known as double dimensional array or two dimensional array. Okay, so why there is a need to define the array variable with double subscripted value? See, the single subscripted value allows user to store more than one value of same type, which is of same type. So as we know that array is a group of elements of similar data type. Okay, so see, when we want to store the value in the matrix form, that means in the tabular form. Okay, so tabular form. And then what is tabular form? When you want to store the value in the tabular form, means suppose this is the table. Okay, the table is consist of rows and columns. Okay, so we are having here, these are rows and these are columns. Okay, so these are rows and these are columns. If you want to store the value in the tabular form, then that time you have to declare the array in the double subscripted value. Okay, so this tabular form is also known as matrix. So what is matrix? Matrix is a table where which is of same rows and number of rows and number of columns. Okay, so to enter the data in the tabular form, we need to declare the array in the double subscripted value. Okay, now the first subscripted value is for row and the second subscripted value is for column. As I told you that this double dimensional array is used to store the value in the tabular format, which is also known as matrix. So if you want to, suppose if you declare 3 as first subscripted value and 3 in second subscripted bracket. Okay, so here this means in your matrix there are 3 rows and 3 columns. So there are rows. Okay, but as this is an array, so array has an element, and an element refers by an index number, and every index number always starts with 0. So similarly, the rows and columns also refers by an index number. So as I told you that every index number starts with 0. So here the first row is the name of first row is 0, 2, 1, 2. Similarly, in column also 2, 0, 1 and 2. So in this way, you store the value in the tabular form. And suppose if you want to store 10 in this particular cell. So what is the 10? So here the 10 can be accessed by its index number, but how? 0 of 0. Okay, so 0 of 0, 10. Suppose if you store in this place. So 0 means row 0, column 1. Suppose 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 and 90. So here you are storing 9 values in 3 by 3 matrix. Okay. So first value is refers by 0, 0 means 0 rows and 0 column. Second value is refers by 0, 1. A third value is refers by 0, 2. That is 0, 2. Okay. Here is equals to 30. Now then next row 1 column 0 means this value 40. Fifth value is refers by row 1 and column 1. Sixth value is refers by row 1 and column 2, that is 60. Okay. See, at column 3, the seventh value, which is refers by column row 2 and column 0, that is 2, 0. Okay, 2, 0 means 70. Then 2, 1, 80. Then 2, 2 is equals to 90. Okay. So in this way, you can store the value into the matrix, and every value refers by an index number, and the index number always starts with 0. So here the row starts with 0, that is 0, 1 and 2. Similarly, the column start with 0, 0, 1 and 2. Okay. So the value refers by an index number. So here the values are refers by the index number of rows and the index number of columns. Okay. So let us see how to declare the two-dimensional array. Okay. Now, declaration of two-dimensional arrays. Declaration, okay, of two-dimensional arrays, that is data type, okay, array variable, array, or you can say array name, okay, and this is the first subscripted value. Okay, what we learning what we learning here? We are learning two-dimensional array. So two-dimensional is nothing but the double subscripted value. So first subscripted value is row size, is for row size, and second subscripted value is for column size. So in this way you can declare the array. For example, okay, so array if int here and okay, so here n is a variable, or you can say num. I am taking variable name as num. The size of row is 3 and the size of column is 3. So when you declare such kind of array, so how many values you have to read, means how many values you have to input into a matrix. So there are 9. 9 means how 9? So that is the size of row multiplied by the size of column. That is 3 multiplied by 3 is equals to 9. So if you declare the row size as 4 and if you declare the column size as 4, then how many values you have to store in the matrix? That is 4 multiplied by 4 is 16 values. That means you have to input 16 values for the row. So the first subscripted value is for row and the second subscripted value is for column. Okay. Now, when you enter the value into the matrix, so every value is referred by an index number, as I told you. Now, how you can initialize value to the Okay. So first curly bracket is for first row, that is 10, 20, comma, second 30, 40 is for second row. So in this way you can initialize the value. So you can initialize the value to at two time, means at compile time or at run time. So at run time, if you initialize the value at run time, we need to use scanf statement. But if you initialize the value at compile time, then in this way you can initialize the value. Suppose if you initialize the value, you can also initialize the value in this way, 2 by 2, means 2 rows and 2 columns, and the curly brace equal to sign. These are equal to signs. Assignment operator, we are using assignment operator. So both 10, 20, 30, 40. So what the compiler will do? Compiler automatically place that value, that is 20, 30, 40. Okay. But if you initialize the value by specifying the rows, so you can also initialize value in this way. But if you don't want to initialize the value by specifying the rows, you can initialize. Suppose, see, the size of this two-dimensional array is, how many values you have to input here? 2 by 2 means 2 into 2, 2 into 2 means 4 values. And if you initialize only 2 values, then what will happen? What will happen? So see, at this stage, what the compiler will do? Compiler will initialize the value tag 20 to first row, and for rest of element it will initialize 0. Okay, so it will initialize automatically. The rest of elements will be initialized as 0. So I hope you understand how to initialize the value to double dimensional array. Okay, so here the declaration is data type, array variable, row size and column size. Okay, so this kind of array is used to form a matrix. Means if you want to form a matrix, if you want to manipulate with the matrix, then we use two-dimensional array. Okay, suppose the size of array is 3 by 3. So how many values you have to input? You have to input 9. Why 9? Because 3 rows and 3 columns, and that the size of array is 3 into 3. That means you have to input 9 elements in this array. Okay, so I hope you understand the declaration and initialization. This is initialization. Initialization of two-dimensional array. Okay, now let us have an example to print a matrix. Okay, so let's take. So in this example, we will see how to initialize the value to the matrix at runtime. Okay, means by using scanf statement. So here hash means program to print matrix. Okay, now we are taking the matrix of 3 rows and 3 columns. Okay, 3 rows and 3 columns. These are columns and these are rows. So rows always start with 0 and column is also start with 0. So we are 0, 1 and 2, 0, 1 and 2. Now let's have a look on the code. So hash include std io dot h, hash include onio dot h. Okay, now the program always start with main. Here I am declaring one array, that is int now. या फिर मैट्रिक्स, आप मैट्रिक्स भी ले सकते हैं. वेरिएबल नेम आप वही लेना है जो वैलिड वेरिएबल नेम है सी में. ठीक है, सो आई टोल्ड यू इन माय प्रीवियस लेक्चर व्हिच इज द रूल फॉर द वैलिड वेरिएबल नेम. ओके, हियर द वेरिएबल नेम is declared with double subscripted value. So the first subscripted value is for rows, that is 3. Second is for 3. Okay, again I am declaring one variable I and j. So why I am taking I and j? I will explain you. Further I will explain you. Now CLR is CR. When you declare the array 3 by 3, that means it will form the matrix of 3 rows and 3 columns. Now let us enter the value, or let us initialize value to the variable, to the matrix. So for I is equals to 0, I less than 3, I plus plus. For j is equals to 0, j less than 3, j plus plus. Here I am taking scanf %d and %, the variable name is num, of I and j. Here and this. So here I am taking one loop and I am keeping the another loop inside this loop. Means this is the outer loop and this is your inner loop. Okay? So outer loop and this is your inner loop. So how it will execute? So try to understand. See, first here the value of I is 0. Okay, the value of I is 0. 0 is less than 3. Yes, condition is true. Then the control of a program entered into the loop. So here the compiler find another loop, that is the loop of j. For j is 0. 0 is less than 3. Yes, the value of is 0. J is 0. Now the condition is true. Again it will enter into this loop. So scanf. So it will read the value for which variable, and I 0. What is the value of I? The value of I is 0. The value of j is 0. That means it will read the value for num 0 0. Okay. Suppose I entered 11. So it will store 0 row, 0 column. So at the place of 0 row and 0 column. So 0 row, 0 column. That means 11 here. Okay. Now this is inner loop. So compiler first complete this loop. Okay. Here. Okay. So the value of I is 0. Okay. Now j is 0. So here how it execute, try to understand. Okay, so here अभी हम यहाँ तक नहीं आए, अभी हम इनर लूप में ही हैं. So यहाँ आपने 0 0 के लिए रीड किया, again we transform to check the condition with the updated value. So after 0 the value of j is 1. Okay, 1 is less than 3. Yes, condition is true. So here अभी हम यहीं पे हैं, I की वैल्यू में कोई चेंजेस नहीं हुए हैं. So the value of j, now the value of j is 1. So here j is 1. So we will read the value for num I 0 है और j 1 हो गया. Okay, suppose मैंने यहाँ पे 12 डाल दिया. Suppose I inputted the value 12. So 0 row and 1 column. So here the 12 will be stored. Okay. Again we transfer the control to check the inner loop, because जब तक ये false नहीं होगा तब तक हम आगे नहीं बढ़ेंगे. ठीक है. फिर यहाँ पे j के वैल्यू 2 हो जाएगा. 2 is less than 3. Yes. यहाँ पे I का वैल्यू 0 ही है अभी भी. Now j is equals to 2. So अभी हम किसके लिए करेंगे? Now the value read for num 0 और 2. ठीक है. यानी I की वैल्यू भी 0 है और यहाँ j की वैल्यू 2 हो गई है. So 0 2 के लिए यहाँ मैंने I और j लिखा है. ओके. सो यहाँ पे मैं किस वेरिएबल के लिए बना, जिसके रोज 0 है एंड कॉलम 2 है. सपोज मैंने यहाँ 13. सो 13 विल बी स्टोर्ड हियर. ओके. नाउ j इज 3. j ये क्या हो गया? 3 हो गया. तो यहाँ पे क्या हो जाता है? फॉल्स हो जाता है, बिकॉज 3 इज लेस देन 3. नो. सो हम बाहर आ गए. बाहर इसे किसका लूप मिला? I का मिला. Now the control of a program again transfer to check the value of I. Now I पहले 0 था, अब I की वैल्यू कितनी होगी 1. 1 is less than 3. Yes, condition is true. If the condition is true, the control of a program entered into the loop. Okay, so here again ये जो J है ये फिर से newly execute होगा. Again the J start from the 0. Okay, तो यहाँ पे ये तो false हो गया था, बाहर निकल गए थे. तो यहाँ पे अभी हम J को फिर से newly enter करेंगे. तो J की वैल्यू 0. तो यहाँ false हो गया. अब I की वैल्यू बढ़ चुकी है, 1 हो चुकी है. Now J फिर से 0. So this time you read the value for num. I की वैल्यू कितनी है 1 और J की वैल्यू 0. I की वैल्यू 1 और J की वैल्यू 0. So this time you read the value for num 1 0. So the row is 1 and the column is 0, that is 14. So here I am assigning the value 14. Right? So now the value of J again 1. 1 is less than 1. No, sorry. 1 is less than 3. Yes. यहाँ पे अभी हमने I की वैल्यू 1 रखना है, J की वैल्यू 1 रखना है. Means we are reading the value for num 1 1. So row भी 1 है, column भी 1 है. So here I am, whatever value I am giving over here will be stored in this place. That is num 1 1. Okay. Now again यहाँ पे J की वैल्यू अब 2 हो जाएगी. 2 is less than 3. Now J की वैल्यू अब 2 हो चुकी है. 2 is less than 3. Yes, condition is true. Now यहाँ पे हम scanf, we will read the value for num. I की वैल्यू 1 है, J की वैल्यू 2 है. So num 1 2. So here I am reading the value for num 1 and 2. 16. So row 1 and 2, that is 16. Good. Now the value of J becomes 3. Okay. 3 is less than 3. No. So यहाँ पे ये false हो जाएगा. फिर हम बाहर आए, इसे J I का रूप का curly brace will again be transferred to check the condition of I. Now I is 2. Now the value of I is 2. Okay. अगर यहाँ condition true है, 2 is less than 3. Yes, condition is true. We will enter into the next loop, that is for loop. अभी ये J का loop फिर से 0 से start होगा. Again the loop of 0 start from 0. So J is equals to 0. So now we read the value for num. I की वैल्यू अभी 2 है and J की वैल्यू अभी कितना हो चुकी है 0. क्योंकि अभी हम लोग तो यहाँ पे एंटर किए, यहाँ पे मैं 70. So second row and column 0, that is 70. Right? फिर हम यहाँ पे आएंगे, 0 के बाद J की वैल्यू 1 होगी. Now J is 1. Now we read the value for num 2 and 1, that is 18. Okay. Again फिर यहाँ पे 2 होगा J की वैल्यू, J 2. So यहाँ पे 2 2 के लिए हम वैल्यू यहाँ पे लेंगे. So यहाँ पे 18. 2 1 के लिए, 2 1 के लिए हमने यहाँ पे 18. यहाँ पे num 2 2 के लिए और यहाँ पे हम 19 देते हैं, तो 2 के लिए 19. सो यार जब J 3 हो जाएगा तो हम फॉल्स करेंगे. अब यहाँ ये लोग हम पूरा कंप्लीट करके बाहर निकले, हम I के पास जाएंगे. द वैल्यू ऑफ I इज नाउ 3. 3 इज लेस देन 3. सो वैल्यू ऑफ I इज 3 और यहाँ पे हमारी कंडीशन फॉल्स है. सो इन दिस वे you can read the value for the matrix. I hope you understand. So see, this is the initialization of your value of matrix at runtime. Okay. To print the value of matrix, what you have to do? So you have to again set up loop same loop I is equals to 0. I less than 3, I plus plus, for J is equals to 0, which is for column, J less than 3, J plus plus, And here I am going to print a printf percentage num I and j. Okay. So यहाँ पे j कॉलम के लिए है. सो जब कॉलम की वैल्यू हो जाएगी तो बाकी वैल्यू न्यू लाइन पर आनी चाहिए. इसलिए i की वैल्यू बढ़ने से पहले हमें क्या करना है, यहाँ पे एक न्यू लाइन प्रिंट करनी है. सो न्यू लाइन कैरेक्टर, या आई एम यूजिंग न्यू लाइन कैरेक्टर बिकॉज आफ्टर प्रिंटिंग द 3 values of j, okay, what the compiler has to do, कंपाइलर जो है, जो प्रोग्राम है, वो दूसरी लाइन पर आना चाहिए. तो ये न्यू लाइन पर चले जाएगा. उसके बाद में आपका फॉर का लूप यानी दूसरी रो शुरू होगी. ओके. सो इन दिस वे यू कैन print a matrix. I hope you understand. If you are having any problem regarding this 2-dimensional array, you can call me at any time. Okay, thank you.